What's up, guys? Hey, how are ya? Man, it's Thursday night. We've seen the trucks get it done. We've seen Xfinity get it done. Tonight, it's all about the Cup guys. Going to have just about 20 of these guys out here on track. It's going to be one hell of a race. Man, qualifying just got done. Their connection test is done. Commando Griff, the one and only, the guy that's got a little bit more than one hell of a shot at that Xfinity title after your win last night. Commando Griff, buddy, welcome to the booth. Thanks for stepping up. How are you? And anybody you're keeping your eye on tonight from the Tricky Triangle?
Pete. Thanks, Pete. Doing pretty well. Savoring that win still, and looking forward to that last race of the season, being crowned champion, the Xfinity Series. My pick for tonight is going to be a little bit unorthodox. You know, you might want to go with one of these Cup regulars, some of these guys who've been in the Pro League, but I am keeping my eye on Combat Beast tonight. He was wicked fast in the trucks. He was absolutely wicked fast in the Xfinity cars. My pick is Combat to get it done tonight and shock the world.
Man, Combat, I think actually Q-Dog out in the Twitterverse last night after everything was said and done, the dust settled, and the rubber was swept off the track getting ready for tonight's race. I think Q-Dog actually said it seemed like Combat Beast had a Cup car while everybody else was running Xfinity. The only reason the man didn't sweep both stages and then the win was fuel. Fuel came down to be a huge issue. These guys got about 30 seconds before they go ahead and kick this off. Do you think fuel comes into a big factor tonight? Or do you think it's going to be all about raw speed? Or do you think it could be just like last night where we might get a timely or untimely caution depending on whose view you're looking from to call our winner?
You know, it's hard to say, Pete. My gut wants to say that this thing goes green for a while and that we don't have to worry about fuel. However, we thought that whole Stage 3 was going to go green in the Xfinity Series and ended up getting that untimely caution or timely caution, depends how you look at it. So, in my opinion, I think we're staying green tonight.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, after the trucks went mostly green, I think they had maybe one or two cautions with a pretty good sized field, just about 20 guys. And then J-Pa really had expectations that y'all were going to be able to go caution free with just about 11 guys or so last night. Because the points are so tight, there were only a few people that were invited. And now the Cup guys, there's a few Xfinity guys mixed in. We'll have to see if these guys are able to get it done also. Let me see. Are you... let me see. I don't see you logged in.
I'm appearing offline here, Pete.
Okay, can you just send me a message and we'll go off it that way?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Actually, nope, I got one from last time. Never mind. All right, so as always, there's Rain, right? So as always, these guys are going to go ahead and take one pace lap to allow us to go through the field. You're going to see a few new faces in a couple of different places. So, Coey, unfortunately, he's out of power up in southeastern PA, south central PA, whatever you want to call it. So he's not going to be out here on track. Stout Whiskey was able to go ahead and get everybody in, get everybody qualified, take care of everything. So here we go. Big surprise here, right? 42 Credit One Camaro for the one and only CGMX Rose. He's going to start on pole. It's going to be the 48 Ally Camaro of the Aviator. He was fastest in practice, so we'll have to see where he racks up. 13, he's going to start right behind Rose. Right now, actually, after the race last week, the 13 took over the points lead. So between here and Charlotte, it is going to be very, very interesting because every single one of these points is going to matter, including those stages, Commando. We got the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man to the outside of the 13, 24 of Combat Beast. You just talked about this guy. He put on one hell of a dominant show last night. I'll be interesting to see if this Exalted Camaro works its way to the front, excuse me, one way or the other. 95 of Jose 95, good to see him. 6 car of Asylums. Welcome back. 17 of the one and only Master Killer. Normally see him in the 98 on the Xfinity side. There's the 47 Kroger Camaro of Augustus. 9 of More Smoke. The man's been around for, it seems like, for years. But I definitely wish him well tonight. 22, no introduction needed. Double Deuce, J-Pa with the 12 of Yotes King to his outside. 16 of that Fraternal Order of Eagles Camaro of NNR Trip. You got the Deuce, old stout whiskey, starting a little bit further in the back than what we've seen lately. 43 of LXTX7. The 3 car of the one and only Duramax. He'll be one of our onboards tonight. 4 car Natty Dread in that Mobile One machine. Coming off of turn 3, hashtag what turn 4. Commando Griff, the 42's coming through that Raise Energy restart zone. Go ahead and take his green, buddy.
And as CGM Rose takes the green flag here, he's going to get a massive push from the 13 down this long straightaway. Pete, it's been mentioned several times this week. This is the longest straightaway in NASCAR. I believe they are close to 3 wide, thinking about it going into turn 1, but they think better of it, and patience prevails. 42 gets a good run off of turn 1 here, and he's going to have a whale of a push by the 48 headed down the back straightaway.
Yeah, going down this long pond straightaway. Man, I tell you what, Commando Griff, looking back from the 42, they were still side by side just about every single row deep, and they came off of turn 1. There was like no wiggling. These guys did a phenomenal job getting through turns 1, going over the tunnel turn 2. Now this very, very flat turn 3. A lot of people like to use the rumble strips to try to get their cars to turn, but in these cup cars, depending on what preset you're on, it may make it a little too loose. You end up going around, and if you're up front like Rose is, and he's going to lead the first lap, you could collect the entire field, but now just about everybody's single file going back into turn 1 again.
Yeah, and I think this is to be expected, Pete. These guys want to kind of get single file, figure out what their preset feels like here on default, and get a few laps under their belt. Some of these guys have been racing all week in trucks and Xfinity. Some of them, these are potentially the first laps that they've put on the racetrack here at Pocono, as we got a side-by-side battle for 4th.
Yeah, yep. The 41, Dan the Lawman, showing a lot of pressure right now. He's got the 13 right behind him, 42 in the 48. They're going to try to hook up and hook to be gone. We saw that last night. I keep going back to Combat Beast, and man, the performance that he put on last night was amazing. I mean, there were 2 or 3 cars drafting ahead of him, and I clicked over to his stream to see exactly what is going on. I pulled him up for a little bit for like a crank it up kind of a session, and I caught him mid-sentence. Says, you know what, you guys go ahead and push all you want, it ain't gonna matter. And he put his money where his mouth was, caught up to those 2 or 3 cars, and ultimately took the lead. So again, that was one hell of a showing by him. Right now, CJMX Rose, though, he's still in the lead, still got the Aviator very, very close in tow. 13's able to get around that 41, so move Lucky Dog back up to P3 and move the 41 back to P4, and I think that's going to be the 9 car of a More Smoke now in P number 5.
Yeah, and I'm keeping a little tally here, Pete, of people who missed turn number 1 here. For some reason, turn 1 seems to be one of the trickiest turns here at Pocono. You're going off in there at top speed, and as soon as you jump on that brake, the car wants to go right. I mean, it just wants to keep going straight up into that wall. The 47 of Augustus actually made some pretty significant contact with Combat Beast further back, and unfortunately that regulated that 24 back a couple positions.
Yeah, see him right now. He's back behind the 3 of, I believe that's LXTX7, if I'm not mistaken. Went through the field kind of quick to make sure we're able to get all just about 20 cars in. But yeah, I see him, and there's that line that he took all last night and all the night before in the trucks. Cutting, I mean, he's just about cutting the grass going through the tunnel turn. So great job by him. He knows what works. Why, like the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As you see the 3 kind of wash up a little bit, maybe make a little bit of contact with the 4 and Natty Dread back down this long straightaway one more time. Rock NASCAR, Coey, Mama Vols, and Vols himself out there in chat. Guys and gals, thank you very much for coming out, hanging out, chatting up, keeping us company. Is old me repeat with the one and only Commando Griff in the booth, calling this whole race for you.
Yeah, and the 47 and the 2 are hooked up here, trying to get a little bit of a draft going to catch back up to this lead pack, which has kind of separated themselves from the rest of the field. I can't say I'm surprised. These Cup guys they're professionals. They know that they need to get lined up and start to kind of break away from one another and pick each other off kind of one by one here. So it'll be interesting to see if this group can catch the group that has kind of broke away. But with the 43 and the 47 going side by side here, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, 47 is going to go ahead and give the 2 Stout Whiskey a big old shot to the rear bumper in that Discount Tire Mustang. Behind him, like you said, the 47, and there is that 24, that Exalta Camaro that we were just talking about. Have to see how long it takes him and if he's able to work his way on back through. But absolutely commando grip as they go down the Long Pond straightaway. There is a big gap between Stout and now the 47 as they go side by side over the tunnel turn between them and the group of 3 or 4 that's just ahead of them.
Down in the battle, heating up a little bit for the lead here. 13 of Lucky Dog is putting a little bit of pressure on CGM Rose. Let me tell you something about turn 3 there, Pete. Last night, in those Xfinity cars, turn 3 is probably one of the easiest turns to overdrive, if you will. You get off into that corner and you feel like you can go in a little bit deeper than most of the guys in front of you, and then the car just doesn't want to rotate. So you got to be really careful not to push up there. If you're side by side, that guy on the outside actually has a bit of an advantage, which kind of helps him off the corner, and it's really tough to make a pass down there in turn 3.
Yeah, turn 3. I mean, you get a lot of grip on that inside. You can get a great run on the outside as well, because it does have just that slight little bit of banking that you can use. And if your car is tight, it might hurt you. But for the most part, later on in the run, these cars tend to free up and actually, get a little loose. I mean, we're not talking about coming off of turn 2 and turn 4 at Martinsville loose, or 2 at a like Auto Club kind of loose on old worn out tires. But it does start to break a little bit. We've seen a couple cars go around over the last couple of nights. But so far, these guys all caution-free and doing one hell of a job, showing a lot of patience, trying to work their way through the field. The second pack, they're trying like hell. I mean, the 2 car, he's now pushing that 47 down this straightaway, and he's got one hell of a pack behind him. If they can stay lined up like that, all figure out how to run close to the same line, they might be all right.
We got a lean green drafting machine up here at Pocono. These guys are doing their very best to catch up. However, what's not helping them in any way is that front pack just continues to remain single file, running their race, knowing that they can continue to pull away from these guys, especially if they get side by side. In fact, our lead group is now up to 5 cars with Jose in that 95 right on the back bumper of Dan the Lawn Man.
Yeah, and by now you would figure that the 9 of a more smoke in that that Unifirst Camaro rather. You'd have the draft. They are running the high draft package tonight, so we'll have to see if Amore, where he's at, actually starts to bring that second pack in. The 42, 13, and the 48, they're still running nose to tail. Got the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man, which in my opinion, I think between last year and this year, Dan has shown the most improvement over everybody. I mean, since he went from that black and silver 35 to this Haas Automation 41 with the help of Stout Whiskey and the 22 of J-Pa, even though there's no official teams in NNR, those 3 really, really work well and test well together when it comes to preparing for a race, as it looks like we might have another challenge for the lead. 13 of Lucky Dog's able to pull the outside of the 42 all the way down the straightaway with 48 of the Aviator, who's going to stick with that 42 of Rose. Going into the tunnel turn, Rose going to try to duck it down as low as possible. Lucky that the Aviator didn't take advantage of that and maybe get on the apron and try for the pass. But back side by side, going through turn number 3. Rose going to go ahead and cut right in front of that 13. 41 now sitting in P number 3, coming to complete one more lap. And at the line this time, we'll go ahead and grab a lap count, see what we've got left here at Pocono. And ladies and gents, after tonight's race, it is only Charlotte left to determine a champ here in the Cup Series. In the trucks, Bowling's got that nailed down. The last couple races have been fun runs in the trucks, inviting Xfinity and Cup guys all the same to come on down, have a great night of some clean, respectful racing. Last night, the J-Pod decided to go ahead and invite some of the truck guys into the Xfinity race because that battle still was, I should say, somewhat tight. But now you've pretty much nailed that shut for you. So I have a feeling when we get to Charlotte next Wednesday night, we'll be talking to you about this championship that you've just earned. And man, if you can do it in NNR, you can do it anywhere. 2 laps to go here at Pocono.
And look at Dan the Lawn Man making that very aggressive move to the inside of the 42. He's trying to get to the 13. Little bit of contact with Rose. No harm, no foul. Neither of them in the wall. He's going to have drafting help from that 48 of Aviator. And they are side by side off the corner. And I can tell you what, Pete, that 13 car is loving what he's seeing out back.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually going to go ahead and pick up the 41. Just as I say that, he kind of dropped to the back a little bit. So now it's going to be the 95. He was going to try to stay to the inside of the 48. Almost washed up into him. He didn't collect the 41. So first and second so far, not exactly what Rose wanted to see. Is it possible that Rose wore his stuff out trying to keep the 13, the 48, and others behind him? Yes, it is. But, man, stage points is what Rose needs, and he needs to try to keep that 13 behind him. It seems like once Lucky Dog sniffs that clean air, he's gone. So we are on our last lap of stage number 1. 13, 42, 48, your top 3.
Yeah, and coming down this back straightaway here, it's going to be interesting to see if the 42 gets a big enough draft to be able to close up to the back bumper of the 13 in turn 3. He's got a big push from the 48. I just don't think he's going to have enough time as they close in through the tunnel turn here. That 13, excellent entry, excellent exit. They've got one more corner to get it done. Their top 5 as we speak. We got the 13, the 42, the 48. I believe the 95's up there. Off of turn number 3, those stage points to the 13. He's going to continue to build on that points lead, but that 42 car staying close in tow.
Yeah, 42 CJ Rose keeping it very, very tight. But again, I believe Lucky Dog came in, well, funny enough, 13 points ahead of CGMX Rose coming into tonight's race. So that just tacked on one more. I mean, slowly but surely, it's going to get tougher and tougher for Rose to come back. Guys and gals, we're going to go ahead and grab one quick commercial. Y'all want to know how to follow NNR if you don't already? Here we go.
Hey NNR fans, don't miss any of the action by following or subscribing to Repeat's Twitch channel. Turn on notifications and you'll always know when the best preset league on Xbox hits the track. Check out his YouTube channel too to see all of NNR's past races. Follow No Name Racing as well as Repeat 1975 and others on Twitter, and you'll never miss any of the action.
All right, as always, anytime we take one of those little stage break commercials, you don't miss a thing. Here we are, 13:42, getting restarted. 48 sitting P3. Dan the Lawn Man in P number 4. Let's actually go ahead and hop on board with this 48. See what he's able to do in opening laps of stage 2 with some brand new rubber. Here we go.
And Pete, this is where we're going to be able to see kind of our first spring flight stuff potentially. He's got to do about 21 laps on according to the screen, breaking down that screen. Stage 5 laps, big moment for Dan the Lawn Man there. A little bit of contact, I believe that was the 9 potentially. They are still side by side off the number 3.
Got it cranked up right now with the 48, keeping an eye on P number 3 as a little bit of a battle. Right now, I'm going to switch back. I'll be giving 1 second. There we go, switching back. A little bit of a battle now between the 42 and the 13. all happening right in front of that 48 Ally Camaro. CJ Rose, he's got the spot. What? Yeah, I see that big wreck in the back.
Behind him. Sorry. Big crash. 12 car of Yotes King. He got tagged going off into turn number 1. Collected one more car, I believe. It's going to be interesting to see if we get a yellow here.
So far, no such luck. We'll have to see if the 2 is Stout Whiskey or if Coey is in there watching the stream and hanging out in Discord to see if he goes ahead and calls the caution. But yeah, usually if 2 or more cars go around and the game caution does not doesn't come out, they'll go ahead and slow them up and woe them up for one manual caution. Let everybody go on down pit road, fix whatever damage they got, and bring it on back out. So far, I don't see where that has happened. It looks like let's see. Nope, looks like they're all still full throttle, pushing 3 deep down the Long Pond straightaway.
Yeah, and tough break for Yotes King. I've been there. I've been collected as a single car incident, and it sucks. He's pitting here with about 3 laps into the stage. You do about 20 laps on a tank of fuel, 25 lap stage, so he's probably going to have to come in for one more splash and go. So real tough break here for the 12 as he was running about mid-pack during that incident.
Yeah, Yotes, he had a very, very good race last night. We just watched the leaders swap positions one more time. Now, when the 48 came up behind the 42, he did his best to try to get in line and maybe try to help out CJ Rose, but Rose absolutely just left the 48 dry on the inside, went to the outside of him with a little bit of help from the 13, and took the lead back. So Aviator, he's it's not gonna, that can't happen too many times before he realizes what's going on. It's like, hey man, I'm trying to help you, but you're leaving me out. If that's the way it's gonna go down, even though these guys are friends, they're competitors on the track. They'll play other games together and do whatever. But Aviator, he's a 2-time NNR Cup Series champion. He's defending this year. I don't think he's got enough points to get it done. He was fastest in practice, but he came in 3rd in stage number 1 behind the 13 and the 42. So he's still fighting that uphill climb. Can he get it done? I don't think so. I think something would really have to happen to both the 42 and the 13. But man, these guys do one hell of a race. And just like Absolute Zero out there in chat just said, Commando Griff, I'm amazed at how hard these boys race and still not wreck.
And I'm not sure if you've noticed what I've noticed here, Pete. We got a new car in the 4th position who is closing in fast with that 48 battling those leaders. It is the one and only J-Paw there in the 22. I talked to J-Paw a little bit before this race, and he had his eyes set on this prize today. He had a really good feeling about his race car. Felt like he could capitalize on this track. He finished 2nd in the Truck Series earlier this week. Keep an eye on that 22, especially with that 48 making another move to the inside of the 42. He's going to bring that 22 right back into this battle.
Yeah, J-Pon and More Smoke, they usually do work very, very well together. So to see these two lined up, and not only that, a More Smoke, he's got help. He's got a pro leaguer right in his back pocket. He's got the 95 of Jose. He's got the 6 of I forget his name right now. It'll come to me. Asylums. There we go. The 6 of Asylums. He's got the 41 of Dan the Lawman, and there's also one more back there. I think that's going to be the 17. So there's a long line here. But as you just said, the more and more the top 3 go 3 wide or 2 wide, battling for that top spot. This long train of coming, headed by Choo Choo number 22. It's not going to take them long to get up there.
Pete, did you say we got a long train a coming?
We got a long train a coming. It's coming round the bend.
Coming down the bend.
There you go. But yeah, they're running them down. And another thing, Zero just said out there in chat, the draft is very, very strong here. You felt that last night. The truck race was ran on normal draft. Even when the actual Cup guys run this track, they end up swerving in and out of lines like you see at Indy, trying to break the draft of the car behind him, and it alwaais looks like a snake going down the front stretch. So I imagine that's what we're going to see at some point. It looks like J-Paw might have lost a little bit of time there, and we're going to work our way back up front because it looks like we got another battle for the lead right now. I just saw, 48 of the Aviator. He went ahead and, put himself right back where he was. Again, he was fastest in practice, so he's got an idea of what he needs, and the stage breaks and all that only help matters when you can make a couple of adjustments to these cars. Matter of fact, when we came back from stage number 1, I went right to the Aviator's onboard and didn't change the flag, so just went ahead and unfurled that stage 2 flag. 13 a Lucky Dog now to the inside of the 48. No help. CGMX Rose, he's going to line up behind that Geico Camaro, and as those guys came to the line that time, there were just exactly 17 laps left in stage number 2. I believe everybody will have to pit one time for fuel.
Absolutely, and I'll be the first to say I questioned the moves that the 48 was making early there. I thought, why not get linked up with these the other 2 guys and try to pull away a little bit and settle it amongst yourselves at the end of the stage. But he has proven to me that 48 car might belong out front ahead of the 42 and 13. He was able to make that car stick, and it has so far has been able to keep in front of those 2 guys, as I believe the 22 might have just popped the wall a little bit behind him. But that group, Pete, they are still coming.
Oh, yeah. J-Paw, there's no giving him. I think that P2 finish on Tuesday night, his win at Talladega, he's been more and more consistent inside the top 5 week in and week out. This season is ending, in my opinion, Commando Griff, right when J-Paw has really, hit his stride. He's been getting better and better all season long, and to be leading cars like the 95, like the 9 of Amore Smoke, and catching cars like the 48, 42, and 13, man, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that double deuce when he does actually latch onto these guys and he pulls the rest of this train up. It's gonna be one hell of a 7 or 8 car battle for P1.
And if you think he was excited winning that Talladega race, Pete, I can only imagine how excited he would be to go out here and absolutely kick butt at Pocono. He would be proving himself to all these guys, saying, hey, that Talladega win, it's not a fluke. I can go run with you guys. And as he continues to prove that, last week at Richmond, having a solid finish up there, and I believe it's the top 5, and continuing to impress. Like you said, J-Paw really has no give up in him. He is a hard-charging guy and a respectful racer.
Very, very respectable racer, and he keeps respect within the Xfinity series that he's the administrator for. And he's got a lot of friends. He's got, of course, that whole hashtag J-Paw militia that you're part of. And he keeps that all respectful. There isn't a whole lot of banter in the Xfinity series when the races are done. Now and then, yeah, but it doesn't reach the level that we've seen elsewhere. So I've got nothing but respect for J-Paw. Looking forward to seeing him down in Daytona in August. It's gonna be one hell of a time. There's gonna be about 20 of us down there. Can't wait.
And we've got some early green flag pit stops taking place here. These are cars that were towards the back of the field. Combat Beast had just come to pit road to put fresh tires on his car. So look for some of these top guys to maybe be looking at coming down pit road in the next, 3 to 4 laps.
Yeah, well, running lap 12 of 25 right now, so that means just about 13 laps to go. Those the top 3 really broke up. Not quite sure what happened right there, but the 42-13, they are back nose to tail. CGMX Rose leading the 13. The 48, he's got about a good 3 to 4 car lengths. As you said, just watching some of those guys exit pit road right now. And by the way, there is J-Paw and the 9. We might as well say engine number 9 of Amore Smoke right with these guys. Can they catch back up to the 48? Without a doubt. I'm still waiting to see J-Pod catch up to these two. He's got their draft, just needs to keep a little. He needs to keep his. What's the word I'm looking for?
Gotta keep your nose clean there.
Well, yeah, keep his nose clean, but also keep hitting his same marks, over and over again when he seems to be making up time on the guys ahead. It just seems like where he's entering, where he's getting in, where he's coming off might be a little bit more random than they were when he was really making up a whole lot of time. But then again, that was 12 or 13 laps ago here at Pocono, where the tires, they get to be a bit shot.
And I'm seeing something out of this 48 car that looks very similar to what I saw last night, Pete, with Combat Beast. Catching him is one thing, but I've seen some of these two guys right behind him try to make a couple moves to the inside, but to no avail. I mean, he really gets off of turn number 3 well, and seems to get through the tunnel turn pretty well as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what the 42 does here with the 48 as they go into turn number 3.
Well, 48, he's going to go ahead and dive it down low. Not able to get low enough. 42, he's going to be able to come right off. 48, he's going to go ahead and come on down pit road this time. He's bringing the 42 CJ Max Rose with him all the way down to, I think it's like 50 or 55 mile an hour to commit to the line. Come to your pit, grab 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, fill it up with everything that you need, and only take what you need, and come on back out. Burn a couple quick laps, and we'll have to see. I'm actually going to cycle back up to the 13 of Lucky Dog to see how much time this costs Lucky Dog staying on track one more lap than the 48 and the 42.
And my guess is the 22 is going to be coming this time by. It looked like he was signaling to the 9 that he'll be coming in this time. I imagine you'll see the 13 come in. You definitely don't want to stay out there by yourself when other people start coming to pit road. That draft is just way too important, and looks like 13 is going to stay out one more lap here, Pete. So that one kind of surprised me a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking behind him, he's got a big old gap back to the 22, back to the 9, back to a few others. And yeah, I'm actually really surprised as well, as you see the 3 car coming off of pit road, keeping it down on the apron. I guess he kind of figured that the 13 of Lucky was coming, did not want to get in his way. And as he goes down the Long Pond straightaway, riding along with the 13 right now, he still has not signaled that he's going to be coming down pit road. I'll have to see if he does it here or not. But it looks like 13, he's gonna stay out one more time.
Things are getting hairy behind him in the tunnel turn. J-Pod just about got shoved up into the wall by, I believe that was the 40, no, maybe the 4 car. That train is getting a little detached. They're getting a little more side by side. Some of these guys, I believe, are on new tires, trying to cut their way through some of these guys that are staying out on old tires. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. With the 42 and the 48 pitting together, I've got to believe that they're just making time up on this 13 lap after lap. So unless that 13 car's planning on taking 2 tires and a splash of fuel, I don't see how he retains this lead after pit cycles are done.
Yeah, I don't see how either. I mean, now we see this number 9 Universe Camaro for the one and only More Smoke, probably some of the steadiest hands in NASCAR. You've seen him run those special races that Heat 5 has put on. In fact, I was actually just watching the replay of it on MAV TV a couple of nights ago. It's like 1:30 in the morning. The Xbox and the PlayStation races were re-aired, and watched the More Smoke come in P2 right behind the 37 of Track Bar. And man, that 13 is still out watching now watching the 9 of a More Smoke get passed by a couple of guys on some brand new tires. So I'm not sure if Amore just signaled that he's going to be coming down with the 3 behind him, or if that was just him getting loose. But yeah, that there's still guys out here that have not come on down pit road for that additional speed, that additional track position that, like you just said, they are losing lap in and lap out.
Yeah, and that lap traffic definitely didn't help their cause at all. Now, no blame at all to the 16 and the 4. They're on new tires. They got to go. But with them trying to pass the 9 and the 22, that really slowed that whole train down. As we see those two guys coming to pit road right now as we speak, with about 18 laps to go here at Pocono.
You know, we've got an onboard.
Sorry.
That's okay. We've got an onboard with the 48. We've got an onboard with the 24. We have an onboard with, I think, the 3. I'd love to have an onboard right now with the 13, the Lucky Dog, to see what he's doing with that shifter. I know he's got that Fanatec equipment that he got during Pro League Season 2. I wonder if as he's going through turns, 2, going through turn 3, he's hitting his mark, but he's letting up on the clutch, throwing it in neutral and saving all kinds of gas. Commando Griffin, I don't think he can save, 7 or 8 laps. I think that's kind of impossible. Oh, here he comes down pit road right now.
Yeah, and I was going to say, last night in the Xfinity Series, the max amount of fuel I was able to save was about 2 laps. And I was really throwing that thing into neutral and coasting about halfway down that long straightaway up front. So 2 laps might be doable here in these Cup cars. I doubt you could do 5 or 6.
Man, you'd have to plan on that way in advance before any kind of scenario for stage points really kicked into your head to see where everybody it was and what they were doing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick back up on that 42 and the 48. They're still nose to tail. Coming off turns, I almost said 3 and 4. What turn 4? Coming off of turn 3 right there, going down this very, very long straightaway. And one thing that may fall into the 13's favor, we'll have to double check here in a second, is if he was able to go down and only take 2 tires, take a light can of fuel, he might be able to hold this over. But right now, with all this going on, it's actually saying that the 2 car is Stout Whiskey is our current leader. So I'm going to go ahead and try to find that deuce. I wonder if he didn't go down pit road yet either, or if he's playing some kind of strategy.
Yeah, 2-car Stout Whiskey has not been to pit road yet, Pete, but look for him to be in any second now. We're on lap 20. These guys can do about 20 to 21 laps. I wouldn't be surprised to see that 2-car come in.
Well, I'll tell you what, that strategy and all that we were talking about, doubting Lucky Dog, which I don't know why we would, he was actually able to come out sitting P2 right now, just about 2 seconds or so in front of CGMX Rose, the 48 of the Aviator. Dan the Lawman right now running a P5. Jose 95 in that Ream Toyota sitting in P number 6. So yeah, Stout Whiskey, even with a little bit of damage on the hood of this number 2 discount tire Ford Mustang, he's still able to hold the lead. But man, I don't think it's going to be long. He has got a car coming hungry all over that back bumper. I think we're about to see Lucky Dog get up and pass this deuce. But still, great points, great effort by this 2. I don't know what he did on pit road, or if we missed him pitting, or what the case may be, but he is absolutely holding on for dear life. Have to see if he's able to hold on for more than that. He's actually looking kind of slow. I don't know if the 2 is starting to sputter or run out of gas. We'll have to see what happens with him as he comes off the 3 the next time.
I wonder if he is also one of those guys who's trying to throw it into neutral here and save a little bit. Maybe he took a splash of fuel and realized he was still a lap short or 2 laps short. It's hard to say at this point, but the new leader out front is clearly that 13. And you know what? Give him the benefit right here. He's on fresh tires. This 42 and the 48, they're not really hooked up. They still have to get around this 2-car. Unless we get a yellow, I think this 13's got this stage 1.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And as the 48 comes across the line, we'll go ahead and grab a lap count for everybody. It's got to be really, really low. Let's see. Survey says 3 laps to go as we see the 2-car fall back to P number 3. He's got the 48 of the Aviator sitting right behind him. I don't think Stout actually has it to try to push the 42. He just doesn't have it left in the tank to go all out like that. right now, kind of where he is, if he's going to try to save a little bit, this is probably the best place. He's got a little bit of a pull from the 42 as far as the draft goes, as well as a little bit of push from the 48. But no, he does the respectful thing, gets out of that spot, lets those guys go. I wonder if we'll see Stout Whiskey come on down pit road right now. And nope, he's going to stay out one more time.
He is definitely in fuel conservation mode there, Pete. That looked very similar to some of the things that we were doing last night in the Xfinity Series. You can save fuel pretty much everywhere around this racetrack. It's such a high-speed track that you can throw that bad boy into neutral and coast into 1, you can coast into 2, you can coast into 3. I mean, this whole racetrack is available to you to save fuel. So clearly seeing the 2-car trying to use that to his advantage. We'll just have to see where he winds up here, as we've got, looks like 2 to go here. It's going to be 1 to go when we hit the line.
Yep, exactly. One to go. Still, keeping an eye with the 42, 48. There's no way they're going to catch the 13 right now. Something really needs to happen to that 13 if he's not going to win the stage. Maybe get the rumble strips too much or something like that within the next lap, in order for him not to sweep stage 1 and stage 2. CJMX Rose, though, he's doing what he needs to do. He's still applying that pressure to the back end of the 13 as far as points go. He's not all over his back end, not making him lose, nothing like that. But he's saying, man, if you slip up, I'm here. That spot's mine. But yeah, the 13, he's got this stage in the bag as he comes across the tunnel turn one more time, heading down the short chute, heading towards turn number 3. I'm sure he'll get down low. No sense in going too low though. Just kind of guide it along the yellow line, keep it over the rumble strips. You don't want to get loose. Don't jeopardize the spot you have. Coming to the line, 13 Lucky Dog going to go ahead and win stage 2. The 42 CJMX Rose, he's going to take P2, the 48 of the Aviator in P number 3. So the same results we had in stage 1, stage 2 is going to go ahead and mirror those. What a great job by this 13. I tell you what, he joined the season late. He was originally going to be part-time just like the 48 of the Aviator, but then schedules cleared up, schools cleared up, and all that, able to run full-time. And man, the competition just hasn't been the same. All right, so we are going to take our last little stage break here. As always, we're going to go to nnrleague.com, take a look around the Zazzle tab, and I'm actually going to show you an updated Zazzle tab later on tonight, but let's take a look at this one for now.
Hey NNR fans, don't miss any of the action by following or subscribing to Repeat's Twitch channel. Turn on notifications and you'll always know when the best preset league on Xbox hits the track. Check out his YouTube channel too to see all of NNR's past races. Follow No Name Racing as well as Repeat 1975 and others on Twitter, and you'll never miss any of the action.
Well, that was a little bit of an oops on my part. Instead of that being Zazzle tab, y'all just saw the follow video one more time. But that's all right. 13 Lucky Dog, 2-car Stout Whiskey, 48 of the Aviator, and the 95. I'm sorry, the 42 CJMX Rose, and then the 95 of Jose. That's going to make up our top 5. Commando Griff going down to turn 1 here in stage 3 for the first time. Let's go.
And watch that 2-car, Pete. Something to clean up real quick here. The 2 actually made a pit stop with 1 to go in stage number 2. So he was able to take probably just a splash of fuel under that yellow and put himself all the way back up to P number 2. So great strategy play here by the 2. Let's see if it can pay off, as he's got the 48 right on his back bumper. 48 gets an excellent run through the tunnel turn, and he's going to be side by side with the 2 heading off into turn number 3. Let's see what that 48 can do with the 13.
Well, I'll tell you what, big props to the 2-car Stout Whiskey for being able to go that far. I didn't think he could. That just goes to show how much time he was letting up, how much fuel he was saving, how much time he was off the throttle to be able to get, what was that? That would have been, 20? He had to have hit somewhere, and maybe in the very, very early going or something. I don't know how he could have gone that far. But hey, man, these guys are the pros. If Stout Whiskey ends up in the booth as part of the top 3, we can absolutely ask him about that finish, his strategy, what he did, what we missed, if anything, as the top 3 almost went 3 wide right there. 2-car gave the 42 CDMX Rose a little bit of a shot to the back bumper. 95 repays the favor to the 2. 48 of the Aviator sitting in P number 2. But man, that 13, a Lucky Dog, doing a hell of a job. You see the 48 pound that outside wall.
Yeah, 48 pounds that outside wall. Looks like maybe the 2-car loops it around on the front stretch. We got about 3 or 4 cars involved in this one. And there goes what I was about to say, Pete. There were going to be 24 laps to go in this stage. Stout Whiskey went 24 laps on a tank of fuel. However, his fuel mileage race just ended with that yellow.
Yeah, he definitely didn't need to see that. 23 laps remaining. They get 20 laps on a tank of fuel. So I asked earlier, could they actually go 27 laps? I think it was. So that really just goes to show what Stout did right there. Vols, buddy, thank you very much for the 100 bits. Absolutely appreciate you, man. Glad you're here. Hope your stream with the NFL draft is going well. And one more time, buddy, welcome back to the good old U.S. All right, so we're gonna rack and stack them back up here. 42 CGMX Rose, 13 of Lucky, 48 of Aviator, 95 of Jose. And behind them, I think that's going to be the 6-car of Asylums, if I'm not mistaken, showing his, or no, that might be the 12, showing himself inside the top 5 for the first time. And yeah, it's the 12 of Yotes King.
And they go side by side into this corner. That 95 right behind the 13. 48 washes up just a smidge. Keep your eye on that 95, Pete. He has been up here pretty much all race. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, as our 2 leaders, big time contact down the back straightaway, and that's going to send the 42 way back in the pack, Pete. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe a little side drafting gone wrong.
Either side drafting gone wrong or maybe a little bit of a block. Might have to go back and watch that one a little bit later on, but we've seen that at Pocono before. I remember a couple years ago, Rowdy and Dohar were going at it, left and right, and Dohar blocked Rowdy all the way to the inside wall on the backstretch. Now you know how deep that goes, but yeah, he blocked him all the way to the inside wall on the backstretch, and just barely able to work their way back on up to make the tunnel turn, but. Man, that was, I'll never forget that. HD Motorsports and I called that, and yeah, that was interesting. There was no love lost between those 2.
Pete, we are 3 wide going off into the tunnel turn. J-Pon, the 48, traded a little bit of paint. I feel like there's a little bit of history there, maybe, from earlier in the season. I could be wrong. But the 22 kind of moved the 48 up the track and turned 3 the lap before, as we got 2 more cars around on the backstretch, and this should bring out the yellow. Augustus, and unfortunately looks like the 12-car of Yotes King is involved as well.
Yeah, the 12 of Yotes, 2-car Stout Whiskey, and a few others. Now, man, Stout, he's not going to like that. But I believe that this will put everybody inside their fuel window. Let me see, 19 laps remaining, 20 laps on a full tank. So yeah, everybody can go on down, grab everything that they need for one last time, unless we should happen to see that caution fly. But also, we're about to see if Rose, sitting right now in P7, I believe, on this restart, if he's able to come on back up. And if the 13 did block him all the way down to the apron, we'll have to see if Rose says, you know what, somebody had the line of the interview last night. I think they said elephants, race car driver. Actually, it was more than a cape that said. He said elephants, race car drivers, and something else. Don't forget.
Angry wives.
There you go. And angry wives. Absolutely. So man, we'll have to see how that 42 works his way back up. But yeah, 13 and 95. Their nose tail 48. The 22 and the 41, looks like 22 kind of got stuffed into the outside wall just a little bit. and that train of about 5 or 6 have gone ahead to take the lead. 42 CJMX Rose, he's coming. He's back all over the rear bumper of the 4-car Natty Dread. He sees the 48, he sees the 9, he sees the 95. But oh, by the way, he sees that Geico Camaro also.
I can tell you he's coming, Pete, but he might have just made himself an enemy there. He absolutely ran that 22 car up almost into the wall. J-Paw is back almost outside the top 15 here. He can't be too happy with that contact with the 42, and especially with the 42 going for that championship, Pete. I don't know about you, but I want to be making all the friends I can going into that last race, especially with how close it is on the Cup side.
Yeah, I mean, it's the championship in the trucks is solidified. Championship in Xfinity just about solidified. We'll have to see how that works once the stage points and Coey works his magic into the site here pretty soon. But there's only I believe about 13 points between Lucky Dog and CJMX Rose here on the Cup side. So yeah, have to absolutely watch things and see how they progress. So far, Lucky Dog, he's won stage 1 and stage 2. He's got the clean air right now. But the 95, he's got the help of, I believe that's going to be the 6 of Asylums and the 9 of More Smoke, as the 95 is going to go ahead and dive to the inside of old 13. 6 is going to stick with the 95, nothing doing. 13 hard on the throttle coming off the corner down the Long Pond straightaway.
And I'm keeping my eye on the back of the pack here. I saw the 2-car of Stout Whiskey pull down on the back straightaway and park it on that inside line and then jump to pit road. So I don't know if there was some sort of lag issue and he backed out, or if he doesn't like what he's seeing in this race and he wasn't too happy with those 2 yellows. But unfortunately, we lost the 2-car. Stout Whiskey seems to be the only car we've lost so far, as we are 3 wide going into turn number 3 once again. 17 of Master Killer showing his fangs here with the 3-car and the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man.
Man, I tell you what, you gave a whole lot of credit to Master Killer last night after an extremely clean race, coming to the line for the win. He didn't rough you up, didn't beat you, didn't bang it, and they say rubbing is racing. But no, he let you go without any kind of contact coming off turn 3 for the last time. It was a dead heat to the line for the win. You got it done, but man, big props to Master Killer for doing everything to hold his line and yeah, not rough you up like we might see out of some other people.
Absolutely, Pete. I got nothing for respect for that guy. And by the way, we got a new leader out front. It's the 6-car of Asylums. He just muscled his way by the 13 with a little bit of drafting help. Put that 6-car out front. First time we've seen him in the lead. I'm going to be interested to see what he can do here.
Yeah, 6 of Asylums. He's very, very good in some, whether it's a custom setup league or presets or whatever. And the way that he's putting it to the 13, the Lucky Dog, he's got the 9 of More Smoke. You've got the 42. He's been able to work his way on back up here as well. But Asylums, he's a pro league driver also. Asylums, he took over for Wow That's Garbage in the middle of Pro League Season 2, and he got that Oscar Mayer Wienermobile up and running pretty quick. So good job by Asylums taking the point, guiding the 13 around. But the only thing that the only thing that this is going to do for the 13 is maybe help him save a little bit of fuel. But with that last caution, it's not going to matter because everybody was able to go the full 19 laps that were remaining when we went back green. But man, looks like 13 is going to try to dive to the inside. Asylum's going to keep right there on that left rear, and yep, back to the lead he goes.
And we got a slide job on our hands here, and a little bit of a crossover as the 13 thought about it. Doesn't have much of a run. There he goes. Looks like the 48's going to challenge the 6. He says, hey, if you're not going to take that, I'm going to make something work here with the 13. He's got a big push from the 9 of More Smoke. They are 2 by 2 going off into the tunnel. And oh, by the way, there's that 42 back up in the battle.
They are actually going to be now 2 by 2, 3 rows deep. 48, he's challenging to the inside, going through turn 3. 48 can get that left side down on the rumble strips, get that Ally Camaro to turn just a little bit better. Asylum still sticking with that 13. A More Smoke sticking with his good buddy, the Aviator. Look at this 13 coming and blocking that 48 all the way down to the inside. Man, I tell you what, that's exactly what he did to the 42, and it didn't work out. We might as well just start calling this guy Logano instead of Lucky, because he's doing an awful lot of blocking out there.
Yeah, and we're loving it up here in the booth. It's fun to watch. I can guarantee you that 48 car getting a little bit irked at that 13 for taking them all the way down there. As 48 washes up into the fence, he's going to scrub that wall. Doesn't collect anybody, thankfully, and he's going to be able to drop back in line here in P number 5. But I'll tell you what, Pete, there comes a time when you keep getting blocked, you keep getting driven down the racetrack, and you have had enough, and you're gonna do something about it. So it'll be interesting to see if any of these Cup drivers have had enough of this 13.
Yeah, you see the 42 getting all over their left rear of the 9 of A More Smoke, able to slow him up, able to pull him back. That just goes to show that the side draft on Heat 5 does actually work. A lot of people said, no, it doesn't, whatever. You just witnessed it right there. 42 is able to stall out the 9-9, trying to repay the favor. Makes a little bit of slight contact, and now the 6 of Asylums, he's going to go ahead and pull back to the 42. But the 9 also was able to slow the momentum of the 42 as they're now 3 wide going through the tunnel turn. Whew, tight quarters.
Yeah, I'm not even out there, Pete, and my heart rate is up. These guys are putting on one heck of a show. That 42 is scooting away a little bit here as they keep getting side by side. Exactly what he wants to see, but now the 9 of A More Smoke has cleared the 13. They are single file all the way back to the 95, and even the 6 car drops in there to make a little conga train to go catch that 42. We are closing in. 7 laps to go that time by, Pete. We are down to 7 to go.
Yeah, 7 to go, and I tell you what, the 9 of A More Smoke, he is not about to give up anytime soon. Got a little tight on the outside of the 13 right there. 48-13, the 90, I'm sorry, who's that out there? Is that the 4? Natty Dread, good for him. I think Natty's actually up here inside the, up inside the top 5. Good for him in that Mobile 1 Stuart Haas Mustang. Good to see him having a great run. But yeah, 42 CGMX Rose, he's got a lead. We'll have to see if the 48 and others can keep that 13 behind. After all that blocking, he did not make any friends whatsoever. We're going to go ahead and pick up on those guys right now. And yeah, unfortunately, I do see the 2-car Stout Whiskey on pit road. So, man, sorry, too much Ray's energy drink. It's kind of making me burp. But anyway, yeah, good to see Natty up here. 48 of the Aviators right now sitting P2. The 13 of Lucky Dog in P number 3. He's got the 95 of Jose, the 9 of A More Smoke, and then the 4 of Natty Dread sitting about P number 6. And yeah, that 6 car of Asylums, he's going to wrap up this, as you just said, this conga line of drivers.
And again, not to keep taking us back to last night, but something with Combat Beast's car is when he got out front and was able to kind of clear our draft, even when we got nose to tail and went single file and pushed and pushed and pushed down the back straightaway and down the front stretch, we weren't able to catch him. So, it's going to be interesting to see if the same case happens here with the 42. He's got a lot of fast cars lined up behind him, but he's also got some lap traffic coming up. I believe that's the 43 of LXT X from the Xfinity Series. He'll probably pull on over. He's a pretty respectful guy and give that 42 a little bit of space. Because I believe we're down to maybe 4 or 5 to go.
Yeah, this at the line should be 3 to go. Yeah, or 4 to go. Yeah. So they're Rock NASCAR out there saying keep on digging drivers, and that's exactly what they're doing. Cinepuse, what's happening, man? How are you? Thanks for checking in, bud. Man, you missed one hell of a race. 42 CGMX Rose, he's in the lead. There is P2 sitting right in front of the 13 of Lucky Dog. So the Ally Camaro of the Aviator right now sitting in P2, 13 sitting in P3. P3's got some help from the 9 of A More Smoke, the 95 of Jose, and the 6 of Asylums. And as you can see back a little bit further away, you see the 4 car Natty Dread and everybody else, that proverbial hornet's nest back there at the line. That was 4 to go.
4 to go that time by. Riding on board with the 48, excuse me. I'm not seeing much progress being made because here comes that 13 getting very aggressive to the inside of the 48. And this is what I don't understand, Pete. Why not just get single file and try to catch this guy? This was the exact same situation that we had in the truck race. There were a couple guys that were lined up behind those 1-2 guys, and at the same time, they decided to race us, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get up there and battle them. I'm a little confused by all this passing here for only P2. Why not get lined up and try to go after that top guy?
It's all about the points, man. Dang, oh, did it again! Boy, that... I'm gonna be good. Not my style of driving at all, man. I get it, but there's a point where you got to say enough is enough, and if you're getting past, you're getting past. You don't run people down to the inside wall or up to the outside wall just because they're coming by you. The Aviator, he's sitting P3 in points. That just completely ruined him. Not a fan. And man, if I was the Aviator and there was enough time, that 13 might go for a little bit of a cycle. So we'll have to see. But the 42 CJMX Rose, he's got a pretty good lead on the 9 of more smoke. 9 of more. I think he's sitting about P4 in points, or maybe P5. I know that he's very, very close to Stout Whiskey and the Aviator. Yeah. Go ahead, Griff.
Down to 2 to go here, Pete. And, going back to this 13 situation, not only is the 48 and the 42 got collected in that, these other guys, they're watching how that 13 races this 48 and the 42. And I can tell you on the Xfinity side, when we see guys that rough up guys week in and week out and throw some pretty crazy blocks, we start to kind of cut them a little less slack on the racetrack. So it'll be interesting, again, going into Charlotte, see how many friends that this 13 car has. As we've just taken the white flag, that 42 is long gone, Pete. It's going to take a big mistake for them to catch him.
Yeah, 42, he's got to have a lap just like we called out earlier with the Lucky Dog at the end of stage 2. He's got to just get down this long pond straightaway. Hopefully no lag, no nothing like that. Get through the tunnel turn nice and clean. Don't risk cutting the grass too much. Get through turn number 3. Don't worry about hitting those rumble strips. You're fast enough. You're far enough away. And yeah, like you said, just like what Combat Beast did last night, once he got that clean air, he was long gone. 42 CGMX Rose, he's going to come and put this Credit One Camaro in victory lane. This points battle just got tighter, boys. Going to Charlotte next week. It's going to be one hell of a race. Congratulations, Rose.
And tell you what, Pete, it got a lot tighter because the 13 got blocked by the 9 down the back straightaway. He actually ended up finishing this race in P5, Pete. P5. So he lost a couple more spots there at the end. Boy, it's going to be really tight going into Charlotte.
Yeah, they came in about 12 point separation, give or take. And actually, you know what? Since we're talking about the points, I'm going to go ahead and pull those up, and I'll put them up on screen for everybody. As soon as I can get past a little bit of this and that, I'll go ahead and put them up on screen so everybody can see what we're looking at. And during post-race interviews, we can kind of maybe refer to it a little bit. But yeah, here we go. Let's see. That is the points race. It was 12 points between Lucky Dog and CGMX Rose. Lucky Dog, he got stage 1 and stage 2. Rose won the race, but like you said, Lucky ended up finishing about P5 or P6. So this is going to get a whole lot tighter. That Charlotte race is going to mean everything. Coey let a few of the Xfinity drivers into the race tonight. I don't think he's going to let, or him or Stout will let any of the Xfinity guys into the race next week. because every point is going to matter. We're going to see a point differential in the single digits, no doubt about it. And I just thought of something, Commando Griff. The race at Charlotte next week, under the lights, it's the Coke 600 championship race. There's going to be 4 stages. So more chances to rack up those stage points when we get to the Queen City next week. But all right, guys and gals, we're going to go ahead and take a quick minute to allow everybody to come on into the booth. And, of course, you know that we will be right back, I promise. All right, guys and gals, we are back. Definitely appreciate everybody sticking right here with us. Commando Griff and I now we got our top 3 in the booth. Going to start off with driver number 9. More smoke, buddy, old pal. Man, it seems like it's definitely been a little bit. Welcome back to the booth, buddy. P3. You unfortunately missed the race last week. Glad you're here tonight. Hell of a comeback story for you, man. Talk us through that final stage. Definitely saw you in the 48 working together pretty well. Saw you in the 42 working together pretty well. You in the third. It seems like you had a bunch of buddies out there, but there's also some pretty intense blocking going on.
Yeah. Well, honestly, for the most part, I felt like me and J-Paw worked pretty well together through the first couple stages, and I don't know what kind of happened to him. He kind of got shuffled back or something, but yeah, the car was really good. I just kept getting shuffled out of the draft, and it was so strong. And once I got out of the draft, it was really hard to keep up. Car was really tight, so at the end, I finally finished all this setup. It just took forever to put the setup in, but car was good. It was a fun race. Was trying to get the win there, and just come up a little short.
Well, you only came up just a little short. You were definitely coming on in the later stages, and yeah, I saw where you and the 22 with J-Pa, pushing lap after lap after lap, trying to catch up to the 13, the 48, and the 42, and they weren't being bashful about swapping the lead back and forth, and it seemed like every time they went 2 or 3 wide to try to figure out who was going to lead the next lap, y'all were definitely taking chunks out of their time. In the end, Rose, he got into that clean air and he was just gone. Did you have anything hindering you besides what we saw a little bit later on in the race? In the 13 and the 48 getting together and whatnot, or did you just miss the setup a little bit?
I'm sorry. Repeat that one time?
Yeah, not a problem. With everything that was going on later in the stage between the 13 and the 48, if you were able to get back up to the 42, do you think you would have had anything for him, or do you think you might have just missed the setup a little bit?
No, I think I could have had a chance at it. It just, once he got out there, he didn't really have anybody to compete with, so he could run a clean line. And it's really hard to run a solid line when everybody's trying to pass everybody. So once he got out there, it was really hard to catch back up when you're battling it out. We tried to catch him for a couple laps, and then we start battling again, and it just wasn't working.
Well, more smoke, my man. We've been friends a long time. Glad to see you're definitely going to finish inside the top 5 in points, even after the race next week at Charlotte. You're looking forward to the Queen City race, the championship race. You're going to put in any extra time for that? Try to get that last season dub, or you're ready to call this season a wrap?
No, I'm definitely going to try to go out there and win it. I mean, we're all here to race. You know, there's a championship on the line. I don't think those guys want us to, lay down and just let them go. So, I mean, I'm there to win each and every week. I know I'm not mathematically out of it, but still want to, put on a good show for everybody that watches as well.
I'll tell you what, bud, if you're at home, I know you normally work in Charlotte during the day, but if you're at home at any point and you need somebody to help you set up a lobby to get some extra practice time in, bud, just send me a text, send me an IM on Facebook, whatever. I'll definitely help you out. Wish you all kinds of luck. Good job, buddy.
Same format. Thanks.
You got it. Commando Griff, this driver 95, I tell you what, boy, Jose 95 got P2. Go ahead, pick him up.
Yeah, and talking to this driver, the number 95 Jose 95, if you will. That is your, if I'm looking at the standings correctly here, that is your 4th top 5 of the season. So congrats on that. First off, P number 2. Walk us through your race, man. We saw you up front most of the time, just kind of hanging around that top 5, and then things kind of seemed to fall your way there in the final 4 to 5 laps.
I got lucky that, or it seems like I got lucky that last stage. I'm usually, if there's something going on in front of me, which there was that last stage, I'm usually caught up in it. But I got pretty lucky that time. But the first couple stages, kind of just stay up front. I know high draft was on, so I know people were going to be pretty aggressive during the race. But no, just kind of mind my business, stay up there, be clean, not to get anyone mad, just so they can put me in the wall. But I think I got probably, I don't even remember where I finished those stages. But yeah, the last stage, I should have had some popcorn in front of me or something, because there was blocks. I don't know if it was bad blocks or people blocking or people getting hooked and throwing the car behind them down. It was insane. I was just hoping that no one either would come up the track and take me out, because that's usually what happens some of the time. But no, the last couple laps, I was just trying to stay there, be clean. I know that last lap, I was trying to get to it more. And that last turn, thankfully my car was loose enough not to get tight and put him in the wall or move him up the track. Because I know once I got under him, I know Lucky and I think Avery was behind us too. But I was able to keep it low and pretty much just make it a drag race from there between me and Amor. That was a fun battle. We had nothing for the 42, or at least when he got out in front, we were too busy battling from second on back. But like I said, that was intense from at least my point of view. I kind of wish I was streaming that, but I was not. But I'll take second. I think that was my first second in probably 2 games in NNR, so I'll take it.
Well, good solid run there at Pocono. One final question I got for you. Since you had such a good front row seat for all that action and the drama that took place there at the end, are there any 2 drivers that we need to be keeping our eye on going into Charlotte that may be trading a little more paint?
You're going to ask me that? I don't know what the points look like. Obviously, Rose and Lucky are first and second. I don't know how far third place
12
is
points
from them.
Between Rose and Lucky, man. 12 points, and after Rose won tonight, but Lucky took stage 1 and stage 2, and then Lucky got relegated back to about P5 or P6 for the finish. We're going to be looking at single-digit points going into Charlotte with 4 stages. It's going to be down to the wire. I can guarantee it.
Probably Lucky and Rose are fighting for that championship. But like Amor said, he's going to be trying for a win. Same as me, even though I'm, I think, 9th in points, way out of it. I'm going to go try to win. I haven't won a race in NNR yet, so definitely going to try my hardest to get there at Charlotte. And Charlotte is one of my favorite tracks, so we'll see what happens next week.
Well, awesome run again, Jose. Any shout outs you got for anybody that's out there in the audience?
Just shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast, especially Pete, covering these races. It's fun going back and watching some of the battles after the race.
Always a good time, Jose. I'm glad I get the one to do it. I get to be the one to do it. Congrats on that P2 again. I'm more sorry, man. I missed you, buddy. Any shout outs? You normally have a few people out there watching.
And I shout out you guys like every time. Like, you like put on everything, so it's always shout outs to you, man.
I appreciate you, buddy. All right, then we get the pick.
Oh, let me add something.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Shout out to Stout and Coey and J-Paw. I know Stout and J-Paw started not running, but I guess adminning the cup sides after Coey, I think, stopped running, but he still watches. But shout out to those three for kind of leading the cup side.
Absolutely. Pete, this next guy, I'm going to read you some numbers here.
Go right ahead, because I'm looking right at him, too.
26 starts. Hasn't missed a race all season. 23 top 10s, 19 top 5s for an average finish of 4.3. He's got 7 poles, and oh, by the way, scratch that 9 wins to 10 wins now, and he's cut that points lead down to single digits. You've got CGMX Rose.
Rose, my buddy, my pal. Boy, I wish HD was in here to actually, interrogate you after tonight's race. Man, you definitely had one hell of a rocket ship. You, the 13 and the 48, seemed like you were definitely the class of the field. But when other people were able to get on up there and mix it in with you, it kind of dragged all three of you back just a bit, especially when the 9, the 22, and others really hit their stride and were able to get that draft in line. But, man, nobody had anything for you at the end. You absolutely checked out. I think you probably had the best line over the tunnel turn than I seen anybody else have. Walk us through those last 5 laps. And, man, when you saw the block between the 13 and the 48 and that gap just opened up for you, what was going through your mind right there?
Yeah, I mean, going into 3 with a more on my outside, I was trying to just take the lead and hopefully stay up there because we were running high draft, so it was going to be really hard to get away. But as we came off of 3, I don't know what happened to them behind me, but I just had like an enormous gap to them, and I just tried my hardest to pull away, and they kept racing with each other, and it just allowed me to keep on getting away. And the car was the best I had it all race there on that last run, so I was just able to put it on cruise control and get home.
Well, Rose, I think this has got to be probably your best season yet. 10 wins before we even get to Charlotte next week. You're the only driver that's going to hit double digits in the wins category. Only Lucky Dog is close at 8 wins. He's got a better average finishing position. You came in 12 points behind him. He took stage 1. He took stage 2. You finished P2 in both of those, so you kept it damn close. With all that happened in the closing laps, he finished about P5 or P6. The points are going to absolutely get very, very tight. With Charlotte being 4 stages next week, how much time are you going to put into Heat 5 over the next 7 days preparing to try to make sure you've got the best piece to go on out and win your first NNR championship?
Probably gonna put in a lot of time. Definitely gonna work on it a lot as much as I can on Saturday. After I get everything I need to do over with, and I'm just gonna get on there and figure it out, and hopefully we can have some luck go our way and win the race, and hopefully do well on the stages, which have been the sort of thing that's been keeping me back and letting Dan get away a little bit. So if we can beat him in the stages and hopefully beat him in the race finish, hopefully we come out with the championship.
Well, man, you know that I'll definitely be pulling for you. And just like I told More Smoke a little bit ago, if you're on here during the day and you need somebody to help set up a lobby to get that extra practice time, buddy, please, by all means, hit me up. Send me a message, whatever. And I'll definitely, because I still work from home, I'll definitely throw the box on and help you create a lobby. But, man, one hell of a race tonight. You've got 21 stage wins overall. You've only got 4 more to go. I wish you a whole lot of luck next week. None of us know where that's going to fall. We might even be waiting for Coey to tabulate the points very, very quick to see who our champion is. That's how close I think it's going to be. Any final thoughts on tonight's race, or any quick shout-outs for you, buddy?
Yeah, first of all, just thank you guys for a hell of a season, no matter how this ends. It was fun throughout the entire way, and it's made a lot of memories and raced with some of the best there is to race against on the game. And for shout out to you for broadcasting the whole season, all the drivers, Coey and Stout for running this thing.
Yeah, it's definitely been one hell of a season. Made a lot of new friends, and like I've said many times, I personally wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Commander Griff, I'm going to go ahead and pull those points up one more time for everybody out there on stream. It's phenomenally close. I just told CJMX Rose he's got 21 stage wins throughout the season. I thought Lucky Dog had a little bit more than 6. I could, maybe Coey didn't put those in. I don't know. But 12 points between the top 2. It is going to be one hell of a championship race next week at Charlotte between Lucky and Rose.
And the one thing that keeps sticking out to me, Pete, is that you mentioned next Thursday's race, 4 stages. So an extra chance to go out there and earn stage points. We very well could have a Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards 2011 championship situation on our hands here, to which, I mean, the tiebreaker, I don't know what the tiebreaker is going to have to be. I'd have to go back and look at what the rule book says, but I am looking forward to seeing how this thing is going to end.
Yeah, we've seen 12-point swings before. It could absolutely happen. Guys and gals, definitely, I appreciate y'all. I really, really do. This is going to wrap up the week at Pocono for NNR. We've got Kansas on Monday night with the NNR iRacing Series, where you'll be able to tune in to the one and only Vols himself. But, man, I really hope everybody out there, whether you watch this now, watch this later, make sure you go on up, smash that follow button. NNR's future on the Xbox, there's nothing certain. With a whole lot moving over to iRacing, there is conversation about maybe starting up a small season, with possibly Stout Whiskey at the controls. I'm not sure who is second or third, or who his help would be, but man, I really hope that everybody will come on out next week for the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup season. And if this is the last race for NNR on Xbox, man, let's send it off with a bang. Sincerely, tell your buddy, tell everybody. Come on out, hang out, chat it up with me. I've got about $100 worth of gift cards that I'm going to be giving out, so you're not going to want to miss that. I appreciate every single one of y'all that tuned in throughout my time on this console side. We don't know what's going to happen with the next edition of the game, so we'll have to see what the future holds. But I definitely hope everybody will come out next week at Charlotte. And yeah, let's make the last week the best yet. So until then, y'all stay safe, stay healthy. I will see y'all somewhere around the track. Stay cool.